You know, Taylor's he's just got a really strong leg. So, again, I think the biggest part is accuracy with him. But, I mean, he's back there launching 50, 55 yarders, so I had to kind of calm him down a little bit. We'll rev it up. You know, we just had pads on for the first day, so we're able to actually get some rush into the line of scrimmage and have him feel a little bit. LaCamera is really talented, and it'll be good. You know, I mean, I think Taylor's obviously has the upper hand because he's been around for a long time. He's experienced. He's been out there in big moments, you know, whether it was early in his career or just, you know, kicking off and doing well. So so you always lean on that, I think, as a coach. But, you know, the best players play. So, I mean, we'll have a great chart of kicks in the next probably 17 to 21 days. And going into that first week, we'll know, you know, the week before the game, we'll know who's going to come out there. And then we also know, hey, they're both pretty talented. So I don't think kickoff-wise we'll do much. Taylor's, you know, really good at that. We'll just keep developing Daniel, but he's hit some really big kickoffs in practice, so we know the future's bright for him.
You won't know everything until games, obviously, in terms of how these two guys respond.
That's right.
To the pressure, but
That's
how
right.
you kind of simulate that a little bit.
You do, and when we go to Kyle, you know, when we get in Kyle, I think we have 2 scrimmages, 3 practices before the first game. That will help a lot. And then, like Saturday, you know, every time we're out there and there's fans, whether it's 500 or 5,000, it's still something for a high school kid like Daniel to have to go to, and it's still something for Taylor to continue to gain the trust and confidence of his teammates.
What has Taylor done the last couple of years? Because I think he missed 9 PATs. And yes, he was young in some pressure situations, but still that seems mental. We know he has a leg to hit PAT.
Oh, no doubt. And, you know, sometimes it can be a snow over confidence deal. You know, you miss one and then all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, the pressure's on me. And, you know, as you mature, you get over that. I just think the biggest thing is seeing him have success here in training camp. And, you know, what have you done for me lately? You know, we don't really harp too much on how a long time ago what happened. What we try to do is just look at how he is right now. And he's had a great offseason, a great summer. He's talented, and we'll just see. The best guy's going to play. So it's hard to answer that right now, but certainly in 2 weeks we'll know.
What do you envision for Speedy in the return game, especially punts?
I hope touchdowns, hopefully. We got so close last year. So he's just, you know, he's really talented. He grew up throughout the season, catching punts, communicating with the rest of the team. It's a harder job than you think. You know, kickoff return's a little easier because it's kind of like I either take it out or I take a knee, but you got plenty of time to catch it. And punts, at this level, there's a lot of guys in your face. So Speedy just needs to finish, you know, and I think he's seen that. He knows that. I think he's really, really worked on it. He's explosive, and we're going to put him in space, and, you know, we got a good unit coming back, so we're excited about it.
He was really good at it last year. I think, what, 9th in the country in punt return? Is it fair to expect him to be better, or do you just say, hey, look, we like what we got from him?
No, it's fair to say that. I mean, he had a chance to score 2 touchdowns, and he was inside the 10. So, I mean, certainly he could have scored. I think 1 year of experience at both receiver, at traveling in the SEC, at going to class every day. I mean, the whole package for Speedy, for any college kid coming in as a true freshman. So it kind of mounts up on you in the middle of the season, then they kind of regroup, and then he had a nice end of the season. He's going to have a big year. And we got Justin Evans and we got Christian Kirk, who are 2 newcomers in that return game that are going to push him and also help him because he's going to play so much at receiver that, you know, you want to have some fresh legs back there that have some explosiveness. I mean, we've got a great contingent, as deep a contingent since I've been here, of returners. So those other 2 need game experience, but those 3 guys together at any one time have a chance.
Now, do you anticipate Speedy still doing punts?
Kickoff returns? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, they got Landon Collins running down to tackle whoever we get. So we're going to put our best players out there.
How about physically, Speedy? Is he at a point where he can do all the receiving and because last year as a freshman, maybe he was a little tougher making that adjustment?
Yeah, I think so.
Where he's at physically? Yeah,
he's in great shape. He had a great summer. But you have to look at that as a coach. When it's a dynamic, major portion of your offense, and that's how he's become, you have to look at, you know, especially in game, like he comes back from a big post route for a touchdown, and all of a sudden we get a 3 and out and it's a punt return. That's what's so great about having Justin Evans, Christian Kirk, Nick Harvey, Devontae Harris. We got skill guys that we can put in there that are just as explosive. All right, maybe they don't have the experience all the time, but it's going to be interesting to see some of these guys in the first 4 weeks before we get into SEC play. So, but yeah, I think you're right. We have to look at that, and I have to do a good job. Coach Moorhead has to do a good job of communicating, and Speedy's got to do a good job. Coach, I'm gassed. I can't do it without being selfish about it, like I want to score, but I'm not the best guy. So I think he gets that. We sat down and talked about that, but you know, we'll see how this training camp progresses at receiver as he continues to go, and then we'll judge it from there.
How much are you expecting Miles to be a difference maker for you guys on special teams this year?
Miles is obviously big-time player, dynamic playmaker in any phase. I mean, you put him at tight end, he'll probably score touchdowns. You know, I mean, he's just that gifted. So whenever you have that, as a special team guy, you want to keep him playing well on offense or defense, just like Speedy. Miles is very similar. And then you also want to say, how can he help us change the game? And when you block punts and field goals like he can, that's where you're going to see Myles Garrett help us the most. Other than that, we've got a great contingent of young defensive ends that come back for their second season, and then Lockhart added to that. So you've got enough guys that can fill in at those type of spots.
When you put receivers with the place kickers you talked about and add really solid punter in there, how good is this special teams unit as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, we just talked about it today, but, we have our goals in our room as a special teams unit, and we obviously want to be the best in the conference. There's really good other special team units in the conference, but we're going to hold ourselves to that standard. And we just know the way we practice and prepare is going to be the way we go because we got enough guys, like you said. We've got enough other guys, Sam Miller and Devontae Burns and Monty Watts and all these other guys that block for these guys and that cover kicks for these guys. With the specialists, obviously we want to solidify the kicker position because that's a major part of it. We got a new snapper who's done a nice job so far in training camp in Austin Fry. And then figuring out the other portions of that. A lot of freshmen may come from that. There's some talented freshmen in this group. We won't really know that until we start going full speed and avoiding people and blocking.
You think Brandon Williams would still be one of your gunners as good as he was last year at doing that, but now obviously he's got a lot on his plate.
Yeah.
New position and maybe playing some on offense.
Same thing with Miles. Like, okay, so that's the one thing you got to use him at. What's the one thing that Brandon Williams can do that can help us without taxing him on any other special team? And that's the one thing that he's dynamic at. So it's like, hey, B, we're going to take care of the other ones, but that's the one you're going to have to start on. And then maybe you look at kickoff and say he started all year on that, but we've got another guy now that's grown up, that's matured, or a freshman that we really, really like, and we're going to put him in that spot. So as a coordinator, because Coach Sumlin is so great letting us use the best players, we've got a responsibility, I do, to make sure we don't wear these dudes out. And Brandon's one of those guys, especially our group of dynamic players.
Who would you say were your top two kick returners? Obviously, you mentioned Speedy. Who would be the other guy back there?
Oh, about 2 weeks, I'll let you know. I mean, obviously Christian Kirk and Justin Evans. We use another off returner, Trey Carson and James White, and a host of those guys, but they're mostly blockers. As far as the actual returners that we're looking to be at point of attack, Speedy, Justin, Christian, Nick Harvey. There's some other guys that will be back there. Someone's going to step up for Trey Williams. He was a really good player too.
Coach, because we don't get to see practice, how do you guys practice special teams? Is it broken up into different sessions that you always do each day?
Yeah, we do 2 10-minute segments. We start the practice for 10 minutes, and then we come back after pretty much all the individuals done and do another 10-minute segment. We usually do 2 separate special teams, and we try to get as many reps as possible in 10 minutes with as many guys right now. So we're running 4 deep, where usually here in about a week or 2 we'll be 2 deep. So we're running all these freshmen through. We're not making early decisions. We're just going to get them all trained up, and then we'll go out on Saturday and then the next Tuesday and the other scrimmage days, and we're just going to let it rip, watch the evaluation or watch the film evaluate, figure out who needs to go in that 2 deep, and make some hard decisions that way, and then move forward after 2 weeks.
With an older Ricky SealsJones, I'm speaking now as your role as tight ends coach.
Yep.
Do you still consider bringing him along in the backfield and using him now in more variety of ways like I thought your vision originally was?
Yeah, I think sometimes when you have a guy like Rick, you got to still find out what is he best at.
Yeah.
Something we found out a little bit was, hey, he's really good matched up in the intermediate routes. He can get open, and then after he caught it, he made some big plays in the red zone. So obviously we've kind of scaled our offense to that this offseason with him as far as his packages. As far as the box and the tight end position, with Rick, we just hadn't seen him as that body type that really gives us an advantage in the SEC. And he's willing to do it. He's awesome. He's selfless. I mean, he's unselfish as could be, but I think he's probably more suited outside.
So if you're going to use a tight end, it might be an extra blocker like a Coda Martin or see if Alexander give you something. Or
Alexander has had a couple great days. Caden Smith's had a couple great days. And I think as long as you do enough play action and enough things off of it, then you'll have an opportunity to do that. But at the same time, you got to look at playing the best 11.
Yeah.
Coach Bav, Coach Sumlin, Coach Christian, our staff, we're always going to play the best 11 on offense. Sometimes that might be taking that position out and putting the receiver in, taking the receiver out, and putting another running back in. We got some talented running backs. So I think you can expect some of that, and we've evaluated that all spring.